Hello, welcome to the first in a series of videos I'm going to be making which can be documenting my training for London Marathon 2019. I'm very lucky to get a place. I'm running it for a brilliant charity called Neuroblastoma UK. So I'm going to be trying to make one video a week during my training plan. So these videos are going to include details about the training, so how many miles I'm running a week, what runs I'm undertaking, why I'm undertaking these runs, the paces that I'm trying to keep to during these runs. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what I'm eating and things like that, mainly because there's only so many videos about rice, chicken and veg that you can watch. The aim is ultimately to use these videos to highlight the amount of training that I'm putting in, and as well as however many other 1,000 people that are running the London Marathon. And a lot of these are doing it for other brilliant charities as well. So it's mainly just to highlight the amount of effort that will go on before the actual 26.2 miles on the day. So there's a link somewhere here on this side to my Just Giving page. That gives a bit more detail about why I'm running it for this specific charity and why it does mean so much to myself and my family. There should also be a link somewhere here, hopefully, to the Neuroblastoma UK page, which gives more details about the brilliant work that they do. So as I said, I'm running London Marathon in next year, 2019. I aim to do it in under 3 hours, which is why I'm starting now, which is actually Christmas Eve. So it's 18 weeks from yesterday. So a sub 3 hour marathon, that's about 6 minutes 50 a mile, or those that still work in metric. Give me a second. So that's about 4 minutes 16 a kilometre. And so for 5k, it's around the 21-minute mark for 5k's over the distance. So there's a bit of history to my running. I've only really started running properly the last, I'd say, four months or so. And during that time I've run 4 half marathons. The first one with no training at all I did in 1 hour 45. I then thought I could run it quicker than that, so I went and put in 12 hard weeks of training. They were kind of covering about 30 odd miles a week, following the Runner's World actually, 12-week sub 130 half marathon plan. I then ran the second half marathon in 1 hour 26 and a half, following those 12 intensive weeks of training. That was perfect conditions. It was a perfectly flat course. The next two, and one in 1 hour 28 and a half, where that was the London Royal Parks half. I started far too far back and ended up overtaking a lot of people on the route. It's quite a narrow route in sections, but I actually felt like I'd run better than I had for the 1 hour 26 and a half. The fourth half marathon I did last year was a really hilly route, which I did in just over 1.5 hours. So doing the maths on that, if you times, let's say my fastest 1 hour 26 and a half, times that by 2, you get into about 2 hours 53, if my maths is right, which obviously is just below the 3 hour mark that I'm aiming for now. But to be honest with you, at the end of that 1 hour 26 and a half, I couldn't imagine running another 100 metres, never mind doing the same distance again. So as I said, I'm fairly nervous at the moment, especially since I'm documenting it for everyone to see. Hopefully I'll achieve it. So my training plan is actually from, oh no, wait a minute. It's actually from this book. Going on forums and things like that, this seems to be the book to get if you're planning on running a marathon in a specific time. So this goes into everything really. It's a brilliant book, especially for a novice like myself, where it goes into things like a bit about what your nutrition should be, the kind of carb intake, how much water you should be drinking. It gives you some ideas about stretching routines, about strengthening routines, and it also gives you plans. So the one I'm following, which is, hopefully you can see this one. So it's the 18-week 55 to 70 miles a week training plan. So the last few weeks I've been trying to build up my base mileage to around, it's between 35 and 50 miles a week I've been doing for the last 4 weeks. I luckily live about 9 miles from work, So I've been doing either into work or home from work. I've been doing that 4 days a week, and then I've been doing a long run at the weekend to try and keep my legs ticking over. Haven't really found that easy. Haven't really been setting my runs to a specific pace. So I've been taking it easy a lot of the time, and even that has been difficult, to be honest. So I'm fingers crossed that I'm not going to get injured within the first week. So if you don't see any other videos, it's because the first week hasn't gone well. So the training plan incorporates kind of 4 main aspects. So one is a long run, with the aim being that on those long runs I'm running around 10 to 20% slower than my aim pace, so slower than the 650, so which is around a 720 to 730 minute mile pace towards the end of that long run. So some of the long runs also include a distance at marathon race pace. There's also speed sessions, so those tend to be at the 5k pace. So my 5k pace is about 18 minutes 20 is my fastest 5k. So that's around 5:53 minutes a mile, and according to this, about 3:40 minutes a kilometre. The splits that I'll be running in those speed runs are around those paces, with the recovery time and a warm up and a cool down as well as that. Well, what are the other ones? Recovery runs as well. So they're shorter recovery runs during the week to keep the legs ticking over and help them kind of active recovery. So they tend to start off around the 6 mile mark. There's also lactate threshold runs, so they tend to be, say if it's, for example, a 9 mile lactate threshold, the middle part of that, so the 20 to 30 minutes in the middle, will be run at my lactate threshold, which according to the book should be around my half marathon pace. So it's around 6:35 to 6:40 with a warm up and a cool down either side of that. Then the other runs in the plan are kind of a variation on a theme. I'll give details during the weekly training videos about what runs I'm doing each day. So as I said, I'm doing all this training, hopefully running the London Marathon under 3 hours, all for a fantastic charity called Neuroblastoma UK. So please, if you can, donate what you can afford. There's a link there to my Just Giving page, which has more details about why I'm doing it for this charity. And also, please do look out for the videos that come in the future. As I say, once a week, hopefully. I've got a few holidays in the middle, not using that as an excuse now, but that might slow things down a little bit. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching this one, and there's details here to how you can donate again. Cheers.